Rise and shine, family. Look, let's talk about T.I. All right, so I got 6 friends who I asked about T.I. yesterday. They all came back with the same opinion unanimously. All right, my question was to them: do you feel like T.I. is wrong for going with his daughter to the gynecologist to have her hymen checked to see if she's still a virgin? They all responded back unanimously, no, I cannot fault T.I. for doing that. Now, let's really deal with that, okay? I'm gonna give you guys my opinion. So first, let me say, is it wrong for anyone, okay, to go with their daughter to the gynecologist to get their hymen checked to see if they're still a virgin? Yes. Is T.I. wrong for going to the gynecologist with his daughter to get a hymen checked to see if she's a virgin? Absolutely not. Kevin, are you being biased because he's a man? Absolutely not. Kevin, are you being biased because he's a black man? No. I am being fair. Let me tell you why. T.I. is a victim, family. He is subject to the reality that he is given. And we all accept the realities in which we are given, right? And that reality for men is a misogynistic world, and it's saturated in misogyny. And we can't see it anymore or sense it because we're desensitized to it. You ever been around someone who, or if you ever worked around a smell, something that, like, say, gas, something that yields an odor, and after you've worked there for a while or worked around it for a while, you can't smell it any longer. If you ever been around someone who had a certain smell about them or a certain odor about them, and then you finally like got in their car or went to their house and you can smell that smell all over the house, they can't smell that. You understand? Their nose is desensitized to it because they've been around it for so long. Well, that's what's going on with men in America. Or men in a lot of places, don't get me wrong, but I'm just speaking specifically for the Western world that we live in, you know. Misogyny exists, family, and it is thick. And most men don't know that they're being misogynistic when they are in fact being misogynistic. You understand? So I'm going to deal with the situation around what happened with T.I. and go from there. So firstly, all right, T.I., that's your personal business, brother. Now, I understand you are a public figure and you were just doing an interview, but, you know, people should be caring about evolving and being better people, but instead they're speaking on you and, unfortunately, your daughter. I know this is uncomfortable for her. So I'm not trying to do a video in which I just do more of that. But I do want to speak about it for the people because I want to attempt to help people that are discussing this topic, just to shine some light to it, okay? Maybe I can help a lot of other men because I do feel that that is a wrong way to go about it. Not that you were wrong, though. So let me just deal with this. I already said it was your business, so now that we got that out of the way, getting the hymen checked is not a factual way to check and see if your daughter's a virgin or not. You know, the hymen can be intact and they still not be a virgin. And the hymen cannot be intact and they still be a virgin. So when you realize that that process does not lead to a fact, maybe you should stop the process. Now, unless, of course, you just want to instill fear in your child, which is even more wrong. You understand? We shouldn't do that because that's going to create psychological problems that are going to come up later. And those psychological problems can be passed on to their children, just like what you are, unfortunately, unconsciously doing to your daughter. Because you were raised to be a certain way and raised to think a certain way, you're now doing the same thing. And you're a very intelligent person, so I think that when you hear this, it'll make some sense to you, you know? But we got that out of the way now. Getting the hymen checked is not a surefire way of proving if your daughter's a virgin or not. Now, here's the third and most major problem. What you are doing is you are appealing to who's in power, government. So let's deal with that. The only reason that you are saying I did this from 16 to 18 is not because you're okay with your daughter having sex at 18. I'm sure you're not. If I were to ask you, would you be okay with your daughter having sex now that she's 18? I'm sure you would say nah. If I were to ask you, would you be okay when she's 25? You're going to say no. But the only reason you drew the line at 18 is because the age for consent where you live is 18. But what I want to tell you is that it's different in different places in America. Some places in America, it's actually 16. And in Colorado, it's 14. You just have to be within 4 years of age to the person that you're sleeping with. So if you're 18 and you're not responsible for the person you're having sex with, meaning you're not their guidance counselor, their guardian, their teacher, their babysitter, their pastor, right? You cannot be in power over this person. And it makes it legal to have sex with this person, even if they're 14. Understand this, in different parts of the world, that age drops even lower. In places like the Philippines, you can be 12 years old, and guess what? The legal age for consent is 12 years old. What does it mean to consent? It means that the person should be mentally stable, meaning they should have the mindset cognitively to be able to consent to you having sex with them. They cannot be, underage, because if they're under a certain age, their consent doesn't count. And even then, even if, say, that 14-year-old who sleeps with a person who's within 4 years of age to them, that 14-year-old still cannot be under the influence of any drug or anything at the moment that they consent. They have to be in their right mind. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about consenting. And so what the government is saying is that in some places, 18 is the legal age for consent. You understand? But that doesn't mean that they're mature, right? So if other places say 16 and then some places say 18 in the same country we live in, and you can drive right over the state line and that changes, don't you think that we should go about it a better way? Like, make sure our children are equipped and mentally prepared to handle the idea and thoughts of sex. If we establish a relationship with our children, an open line communication, for our daughters can converse with us when they are ready to have sex, when they are feeling those feelings, and we can handle this in a mature way, maybe they will continue to talk to us. But if we don't, okay, if we go about it in a different way and make them feel ashamed or guilty for their sexuality or wanting to have sex, they'll hide it from us. And guess what? They're going to have sex anyway. You did it. I did it. We all did it, family. So it's better to just understand that your children are human just like you. And it's better to just have a rational conversation with your children and get over your feelings. Because what we're doing is we're using our feelings to subject our children to misogyny. And it's not fair. T.I., you said out of your own mouth that you have a different standard for your boys. Now, this is why I say this. I don't know why you have a different standard for your boys. But I'm sure it's not rooted in logic. I mean, you could say, hey, well, boys can't get pregnant. Well, they can get someone pregnant. Well, girls have to have the baby live with them. Well, actually, though, they don't. They can actually give the baby up. They actually have many things they can do. They can get an abortion, because that's also legal in the world we live in. Okay, she could give it up for adoption. That's also illegal in the world we live in. So these things can be accommodated to a female. Now, if the child does live with the female, so what? The male child still has to be responsible for that child. It's inappropriate to tell your female child that, or male child, that the standard is different because they don't have to live with the child. The responsibility doesn't change. Shouldn't you be equally as responsible for that child as the female? Right? You don't want a child coming into this world thinking differently. Hey, my mama is more responsible for me than dad because she's a female, right? We have to get out of this type of mindset. Now I'm gonna ask you guys a question. And I asked my friends the same question, okay? They were men. I asked them a question, okay? 2 children are caught having sex in school. They are 14 years old. Which child would you rather be the parent of? The daughter or the son? The boy or the girl? They all unanimously said the same thing, the boy. Doesn't that prove that they're thinking in a misogynistic way? They don't like how being the father of that little girl makes them feel. So my question was, what if the boy seems to have no future? What if he doesn't even care? What if he doesn't make good grades in school? What if he just doesn't seem to care about anything but sex? What if he's just good at getting sex, at having game? What if the daughter is very focused, has goals, makes great grades in schools, definitely knows what college she wants to go to, if that matters to you, okay? But what if she is equipped for life and more prepared for life than the man, but she just got talked out of her drawers? You'd still rather be the father of the boy? See, all I'm saying is this. If we're going to keep doing this, the world will never change. Be the change that you want to see. And if we keep telling women that they're worse human beings for having sex as many times or more than a man, then we're not going to change the world. We're going to keep having women, our female counterparts, have guilt for things that we don't have guilt or shame for. Have you ever heard a man say, well, I don't want to sleep with you because it's too soon, it's the first night, and tomorrow you might think less of me. You might think I'm a whore. You might not value me as much. No, men don't say that. You know why? They are not convicted of being a whore if they have too much sex. You understand? In a way that it would be negatively said to them. But women do. So I think that's messed up, that women have to always walk around with this thought in their mind that they can be put inside of a box on being, a good person, a good girl, or a whore. And men don't have to walk around like this. You see what I'm saying? It's unbalanced. And we have to understand that in this world, you got the masculine and the feminine, and it has to be balanced, family. And we've been out of balance for so long, and it's time for us to get it back together. And we're gonna have to come out of our feelings and start looking at things logically. Look at things outside of your avatar. Just because it seems to work for you doesn't mean it's right, man. Many people do this. They can't see what's going wrong in the world because it benefits them. You understand? We have to see outside of that. How else are we going to know it's wrong and make the world a better place? Right? I mean, that's really it, family. I just think that we can be a whole lot better when it comes to that. Moral of the story is this. Establish a relationship with your child. Make sure they are mature enough to understand what sex is, the results of sex, pregnancy, diseases, so forth and so on. Attachments, heartbreaks, all these things that can come with sex. Make sure they understand these things. And make sure that they understand that it's okay to talk to you about it. This way, you can always be in your child's life and maybe have a conversation with them before they maybe make a mistake. You understand? Or you can have them more prepared for what would have been a mistake, right? It's only wise. My thing is, I'm not saying let loose on your daughters and let them do whatever they want to do. I'm just saying mentally prepare them. Because if your child is 18, 19, 21, if they're not mentally prepared for sex, they're still going to get ran over all the same. You understand? And I'm telling you right now, the fact that women feel guilty when they get ready to have sex, when the fact that women feel like they're doing something wrong if they have sex too soon, kiss on the first date, hold hands, all of that crazy stuff is just more proof that they're mentally immature for sex. And it's not their fault. They've been subjected to this. Women, I am telling you now, if there is any way that you can find it in you to ignore, okay, do away with, block out all of the negativity that is aimed towards you when it comes to having sex, please do that. You understand? It is not fair. You should not be judged for how many times or how often you have sex. You're a human being just like us. This world, you get one life that we know of, okay? And you should be welcomed and have the right to pursue all desires just like men, right? So that is the facts, and you definitely should stick your chest out and walk in that. Don't let anybody mistreat you because you had sex, man. If you want to have sex, man, have sex. Now, I'm not saying this for kids now, you understand, but I'm saying grown women who want to have sex, they still walk around with this idea that they are a whore because they want to have sex or they enjoy sex. You know, sex is a natural act, family, and we got to stop putting all these stigmas on it. You understand? Number one, why do we care so much about what the government says about when we should have sex? I mean, it changes from state to state. Shouldn't that tell you that that's stupid? And it should be about your relationship with your child and the mentality of your child. Because if the government changes the legal age to 12, what you gonna do? Still tell your child it's not wrong when the government's saying it's okay? You better make sure your child is mature, regardless. That is the best way, family. All right? Be evolution, be the change that you want to see, and no candle loses its flame from lighting the other. All right? And if you would ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it is in that chaos that you found yourself. T.I., you the man, bro. I actually like you a lot. I like what you do. I think you're very intelligent. And I think if you watch this video, I believe that you will resonate with it. You know what I mean? The only thing you're guilty of, T.I., is thoroughly investigating. All right? And I get why you did it. You know, and that's no pun intended on T.I. and thoroughly investigating. My thing is I get why you did it, you know, but I'm telling you that all that is from a misogynistic standpoint, and you have to see the world outside of the matrix that you live in order to make the world a better place. You understand? You can't be in the program trying to fix the program. You have to get outside of the computer to fix the program. If you're in the program, you're programmed. Get it? You're programmed in. That's why you're in it. Get out. All right? Peace, family.